back to this special anniversary program. Today, CBN is celebrating 52 years of television broadcasting. And for nearly 2 decades of that time, there was a man who came to us. He was from Kinchlow, Texas. He was running a drug rehab program down there, and hand to mouth. And he sat with us, and the next thing you know, he was the alternate host of this program and then co-host, and he was here as a dear friend for decades. Let's take a look.
Ben Kinchlow is known around the world as the longtime co-host of the 700 Club. For 17 years, he captivated audiences with his contagious laughter and charming personality.
I'm an American citizen.
Ben first appeared as a guest on the 700 Club in 1971 when he was the director of a drug and rehabilitation center. He later joined CBN as the director of counseling. And then in 1975, he joined Pat as co-host of the 700 Club. After leaving CBN in 1996, Ben began his own ministry, serving as a humanitarian, minister, and political awareness activist.
Oh, we had a co-hostess named Danuta Soderman, and she said it's the blonde, the black, and the Baptist, and the three of us. Ben Kinchlow!
Well,
hey.
obviously I'm not the Baptist.
Well, you could be. Okay. Hey, you're looking good, brother.
Are you kidding me? You still got this thing here?
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, this Bible has been here for what? 40 years?
At least.
This thing has been there, and it's still here.
Yeah. Just
They hadn't changed a bit.
You have me. You look good.
Well, thank you. Thanks to the makeup team back there in the back. I salute you guys, man.
Yeah.
If they can make me look good.
Hey, you remember? I remember you coming in. You were in Kinchlow, Texas. You were down there, I don't know, on a pig farm or something with a bunch of drug addicts. I mean, that's really true, isn't it?
Yes, it was. It wasn't a pig farm.
What? I thought it was. You're raising
It's called Christian Farms, where we brought drug addicts in and told them about the Lord Jesus Christ. And I got a chance to come down and share with this on the program that I had never heard of before, called the 700 Club. And he said, would you go down here and talk about Jesus? I said, I'll go anywhere to talk about Jesus, man. So I went down there, and here was this guy named Dr. Pat Robertson. And the guy talked to me like he was really interested in what I had to say. In other words, it wasn't just...
You're supposed to.
I know, but you really did that. You know, I thought, wow. So a few months later, I guess about 60 days later, they called me up. A lady named Ruth Eggert called me and said, would you come help Pat Robertson do a 700 Club? And I said, well, yeah, because that time it was you, a guy named Henry Harrison.
That's true.
And then there was a third guy who was over in the phone bank. So once or twice in the 2-hour show, you'd go over there and say, let's go see what's happening at our phones. So I can do that, right?
Yeah,
so they called me down here to Portsmouth, Virginia. That was the big studio. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, live music, live audience, you know. And I'm over here shaking hands with the counselors going, hey, what's happening, you know, Colonel? And I noticed the floor director kept looking at me. He said, Mr. Kinchlow, we got about 5 minutes to air. Would you take your place? And I said, well, maybe they want to hear some more of my testimony. So I went over and sat down in the guest chair, and I was waving at the audience and carrying on. And he kept looking at me and finally came and said, Mr. Kinchlow, we got about 2 minutes to air. Would you take your place? And I thought, you know, this would be a really good time to ask for my place. So I said, well, where do you want me to sit? He looked like somebody kicked him in the stomach. He said, you mean they didn't tell you? I said, tell me what? He said, Pat and Henry are in Israel. You're the host of the 700 Club.
You didn't know?
I didn't know.
Well, we like to give people plenty of... You know, I'll never forget, you were hosting, and you had a lady who was the wife of a prominent Dallas real estate guy, and she had a rock on her finger, about 7.5 carats. And you remember you were interviewed, and she said, you know, we didn't have, it was such a suffering time, and we were short of servants. And you looked at her and said, well, tell me about it. I'll never forget that. I mean, tell me about not having a shortage of servants. But we had a lot of fun, didn't we?
But, you know, Pat, one of the things I think people forget, you know, they throw the word pioneer around, you know, because a lot of people know what a pioneer is. But what people don't realize is that when you started this thing, you maybe would get a Sunday morning program on some television stations. They might be running Oral Roberts, somebody like that.
That's right.
But then you started in this little rundown station in Portsmouth, Virginia, and 1-hour program, you know, when it would air, you know. And now people don't think anything at all about the fact that there's 24-hour day, 7 days a week, Christian television, so you can tune it in on the internet. You can find it anywhere. But back in the day, the word pioneer really had a meaning. You were the first guy that had the oomph, the gumption, as Mama used to say, to get out there and start doing something that nobody ever done before.
Well, we wanted to go where nobody had been before, and that's what the Lord knew.
That's like Star Trek, where no man has gone before.
At warp speed, out in the Enterprise.
And now, you know, all over the world, you know, Pat, people are coming to know the reality of Jesus Christ.
That's right.
You know, Pat, one of the things I think we forget is that Western civilization and all the benefits and privileges of Western civilization are founded on the Judeo-Christian principles outlined in the Bible.
That's right.
And what the 700 Club does on a regular basis is articulates these principles regularly to say, this is how we should live. And thank you for giving me this copy of your
It's my privilege. It's for you. It was my compliment. How shall we now live?
Yes, how shall we now live?
Well, listen, brother, what are you doing? You got this politics thing, yellow dog donkeys? What yellow dog donkeys?
Black yellow dogs. And
black yellow dogs. Here's a copy. You got a camera somewhere? Okay, there it is. All right. What is it?
It's about the participation in the political systems of African Americans.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they have become referred to as a yellow dog Democrat.
Yeah.
Yellow dog Democrat means that you vote for a Democrat regardless of the candidate, regardless of the issue. It doesn't make any difference who he is or what he's talking about.
Even the yellow dog.
He's a Democrat. You vote for him. And that's what African Americans have been doing since the 40s. And the truth of the matter is, they need to be voting according to principle, not party. And so I wrote this book to say, let's examine the historical facts and let's vote according to principle. Don't just let somebody lead you down the primrose path.
You're talking about the new plantation. That's the plantation.
Exactly, man. And let me just tell you, if you remember back, you won't remember back in those days, but if you look at the history, back in the day, there were two types of slaves. There was the house slave and the field slave. Okay. The house slave was a guy who lived in the master's house. He ate master's leftovers. He wore some of master's clothes sometimes. The field slave worked out in the fields, and he got treated like a dog. He was always looking for an opportunity to escape. So sometimes he would come in and talk to the field, you know, the house slave, and say, let's run away. And the house slave would say, what you mean run away? Master good, where are we going to find anybody to take care of us like this? Today, the Democrats are still practicing plantation politics. And let me show you what. When you talk to people about breaking away from the Liberal Party, breaking away from the Democrats and saying, go look out for yourself, they pull out this thing, Pat. Let me just show you.
What's that?
This is a list of some of the benefits that are available to you.
Good grief.
If you are a single family or a pregnant mother. These are just some of the benefits. So when you talk about let's get away from here and go take care of yourself, they'll say, are you crazy? Where are we going to find somebody who take care of us like this? And that's exactly what's happening.
That whole list is
whole list. So now all you have to do is go down and file for one of these benefits, and you just got a list of them. Now, Pat, there's a management principle you're familiar with.
All right.
Every successful businessman is familiar with this management principle. What gets rewarded gets done.
That's right.
You want somebody to do something, reward them. So all of these people, the reason that 70-some-odd% of African-American babies are born out of wedlock is because they reward mothers for having children out of wedlock.
Big reward. I mean,
so why wouldn't they?
$90 a month a child or something. Whatever they pay, it's big money.
Do you know it comes out, Pat, that when you take all the benefits added together, you actually make more on welfare benefits than you can if you're working a job regularly.
Well, what are you going to do?
Well, you're going to do you can do what they're doing.
They're not stupid.
No, they're going to do right there and say, hey, send me my check, baby.
So how you're rowing upstream on this one?
Yes, I am. But I'm trying to say that one of the things we need to understand is that God gave us something called sovereignty, human sovereignty. we have the right to make our own decisions, and God holds us responsible for our decisions.
Amen.
And that's what we need to do, is make decisions based on principle, God's principles, not based on the promise of some earthly reward.
That is getting a receptive ear in a number of places. That you must be much in demand as a speaker.
Well, I get a chance to speak to some folks, and we meet some of the folks that whose names you would recognize if I mentioned, but I'm not.
Well, I wish you the best. Well, you see, what you're talking about, Benny, is leading to this impasse that they've got right now in Washington, because the folks who are giving the plantation benefits don't want to give them up, and the ones who say we've got to have fiscal sanity or we're going to ruin the whole game for everybody, you know, they're fighting upstream just like you are.
Exactly. But if you don't know what the truth is, Pat, then you'll act on what you think is the truth. And one of the reasons that the Founding Fathers put in a free press was so that people get the facts, not opinion, but to get the actual facts. And that's the job of the press, to tell people what's really going on. Well, unfortunately,
they won't do it.
Falling by the wayside.
Ben, it's great to see you. You're looking well. You're charged up and had a new vision of where the Lord is going to take you.
Yes, it is. And I have something I have got to say, Pat. You know, last time I was on the 7 Club, had the privilege of being here, and I said something dumb, stupid, and rude on a program, and I did it in public, so I had to apologize to you for on public and apologize to the 7 Club audience for saying, yeah, last time I was on 7 Club.
You didn't say that.
Yes, so please forgive me.
Well, brother, great to see you. God bless you.
My privilege. Thank you,
We had some great times,
Yes,
didn't
we did. Yes, we did.
Great times. Well, Ben's book is called Black Yellow Dogs. And it's available where books are sold. And also, we have a web-exclusive interview with Ben, so watch for that. And you can log on to cbn.com and click a thing that says In the Green Room.
With my grandson. Can you believe that?
How about that? He
Tell
came
me,
to interview
brother,
him.
tell me, man.
That's it. Yeah, the apple didn't fall far from the tree.